All right, today I'm going to talk about Dr. Peter Attia. I was just listening to this morning. He was getting into things like diabetes and cancer and a lot of things he also touched on. It was the food pyramid and and how things are interacted with our lifestyle habits and everything. And he was also talking about the obesity epidemic that's not just raging on in here in America, but starting to spread across the globe and everything. So yeah, the obesity epidemic could say is direct response to the food pyramid. And one of the things he's talking about it was pretty much like a marketing scheme in the sense how do we produce as much food as possible, as cheap as possible, to kind of get people as many people away from being malnourished as possible and everything. So the concept of the food pyramid, if most people remember, or if you're not familiar, you had on the base of the pyramid you had your grains and whole wheats and pretty much your carbohydrates from things barley, oats, wheat, and and stuff like that you can make in a sense bread with. And then it goes up to fruits and vegetables, and then the next level would be things poultry, fish, meat. And then at the top of course would be your sweets, or your chocolate and candy bars and your sodas and stuff like that. But with research though, and of course it's always an ongoing thing, and so it's not something that's always set in stone. So but it's with a lot of stuff that's coming out recently, and we're still experts are still kind of scratching their head, yeah, we got nothing type of deal. But since the food pyramid has come out, the obesity rates pretty much have in a sense skyrocketed and everything. So the number I came across in 2019 stated that the obesity rate was 46%. And of course this was before the pandemic hit in 2020, and the average weight gain that people reported was 20 pounds. So I haven't looked it up yet, but I would not be surprised if that extra 20-pound average weight gain during the pandemic has pushed the obesity rates over 50% and everything. So in the regards to the food pyramid, it's with of course being the base of your having a high carbohydrate diet and everything, in a sense your body's constantly producing glucose and everything. And of course there's a lot more science into this and that I could get into in a video like this. So you're going to have look into research and everything, and see the actual how sugar and gets converted into glucose, and how your body processes that into energy, and how your body also processes it can process protein and fats into energy as well, transferring it over to the glucose that we use to fuel our body and everything. So that's why I'm someone big on what's called the elimination diet. And the whole concept of elimination diet is that we eliminate foods that we'd have adverse reactions to. So someone might be lactose intolerant. So I know in one of the fitness groups that I was in, there's one woman who was lactose intolerant. She had migraines for 30 years, and then she cut dairy out. And not only did her migraines go away, but she was got off the medication that she was taking for those migraines. So that's an example of how you go about the elimination diet. So if you're first starting, some of the obvious choices with the elimination diet would be okay, I'm going to Burger King 2 or 3 times a week, and I'm going to McDonald's 2 or 3 times a week, and basically eating fast food 4 or 5, 6 times a week and everything. That would be a first step to an elimination diet. Instead of having a Big Mac and fries, you go home and maybe you cook your own. You pick up a 1 pound package of ground beef, and you cook your own burger instead. So that would be a first step in the elimination diet. So and it's going to look different than for everyone, because everyone has a slightly different gut biome. We might be affected differently for not just from things dairy, but like there might be like someone might in a sense like have like a bad reaction to Brussels sprouts, but then when they eat carrots, oh hey, carrots are great and everything. So like it could be different types of vegetables that you could have different reactions to and everything. So like the idea of the elimination diet is a process, and so like you're kind of testing foods and everything, and like you'll cut them out for like 6 to 8 weeks, because like you got like on you here on YouTube, you get like, oh, I tried the carnivore diet for 30 days and here's my results. It's like after 30 days, your body's just like just now it's like starting to finally cycle through. Like, okay, now we're used to this process and everything. So like that's why you want to do like 6 to 8 weeks or whatever. So like for instance, like using the dairy analogy, like before, you cut out dairy, and say 2 months later you sit there and you drink a glass of milk, and like you end up getting like a migraine or something. Oh hey, look, I now know that this negatively affects me. And like so like the process of the elimination diet is to find like not only the foods that are going to like pretty much destroy you, but find foods that like you can either take that are kind of like the meh food, stuff that you can either take or leave. And then also to find the foods that like oh hey, look, I prefer eating salmon over beef or whatever. So that's why there's so many different like approaches, like the pescatarian, the carnivore, vegan, vegetarian, like and like uh, the Paleolithic, the paleo diet. So like you could sit here. I had a brain fart there, but like you can try and find like which approach works best for you. So like you might find that going like the paleo approach works great for you, but you know, like or you might be someone like who like goes vegan, and like it works wonders for you. And like maybe you supplement, like get into my supplementation video, you get your supplementation in to kind of like make sure you're getting like all your nutrients in, type of deal, because you might depending on like whatever path you follow, you might be deficient in something. So like I just donated blood like a little like a few days ago, and like normally my iron level is at like a 14 something, like 14.2, 14.3. This last time I was at like a 13.4 or something. So like my iron is a little lower than it has been. So that's why I last year I picked up some iron supplements that I have been taking like every now and then, but I haven't taken any in a while. So that's why my like iron count was a little lower when I donated blood. So that's where supplementation comes in. So like Dr. Peter Adio is getting into like the food pyramid on how like it's kind of outdated, and like it isn't necessarily good. So this is why like I'm a big proponent of like going with the elimination diet, and that's why I've talked about that. And so like and like he's talking about like not just longevity and like you live to be like 140 years old, but you like also like your what he was saying is healthgevity, meaning like sure, you lived 140 years old, but like you spend the last 70 years like senile and dementia ridden or whatever in like an institution. So like from like 70 to 140, that's no way to live. So like the health longevity is more like in a sense like being able to be active and like cognitively coherent for as long as you live and everything. So like for instance, like being like and they were saying like he was saying like being active, like you exercise regularly, is like one of the biggest indicators of like of that. Like it helps mitigate the cognitive and physical decline that we suffer when the older we get and everything. So like everyone knows the stereotypical grandma who's all like rigid and hunched over and has to use a cane and kind of walks kind of rigid and everything. It's like that would be like in a sense an example of like kind of like poor lifestyles. Or you could use like the example of like someone who's like also like a grandmother, but like is like out and about, and like she's out on the tennis court doing that, or she's going out for walks and stuff like so like physical activity is important, so that's why like exercise is like so important. So this is why like I went into like the seven pillars, like with the especially with like just talking about nutrition, which is pillar two, which is important, and then pillar three, training, is important. So because like I like to say, that's the pillar that like, okay, what gets me off my lazy ass and everything to help make sure that like I'm not wheelchair bound when I'm in my 70s and 80s and being like a miserable old fart and everything. Exercise like not like not only has a positive profound effect on your body and everything, and it has like the positive impact on your mind and everything, and it helps, like I said, mitigate the that decline that we start suffering and everything. So like and like he was talking about like yeah, you want to do like a cardiovascular and weight training, because like one of the markers he said was like a high VO2 max. Like a VO2 max is like how much like is an indication on how healthy your lungs are. So like think like of like a marathon runner versus someone who just sits on the couch in front of the TV all day. This person that's sitting on the couch all day like in front of the TV doesn't have like a high VO2 max, whereas the marathon runner does. And like with weightlifting, you start losing muscle mass in like your 30s, and like and it's like I think the number is like 1 to 2% or something you lose every decade or something. So weight training, like with weightlifting, like getting into that helps mitigate that loss and everything. So like so two big indicators for like a fit like to help mitigate like the decline would be like doing weight training and like cardio. Like you don't necessarily have to be like the marathon runner, or like maybe you have to step on stage like the Mr. Olympia stage for extreme examples. Like what you can do is like 4 or 5 days, like half an hour each day or something, but like you can build up to it and everything. So like and so like that's like this a lot of the stuff that he was talking about is like how like we combat like a very unhealthy lifestyle, like that like we have here in America, like with the this like for instance like the nutrition, the standard American diet, like isn't necessarily a good thing for most people. So like this is why I've done videos on like the seven pillars. And so like this is especially something like when people like myself with who have addictions, this is the perfect ways for us to improve our lives and like stay away from those bad behaviors and everything. So like for instance, like with the seven pillar videos I did on the community, nutrition, training, recovery, mobility, mindfulness, and the consistency part and everything. So like that's why like listening to him, it's like this morning, it's like, oh hey, this is like stuff that like I already do. So like maybe I should point it out to other people. So like here we have like doctor talking about like stuff that like, hey look this is what we can do to like start like living healthier lifestyles and everything. So like I like for myself, like like I said, I don't want to be wheelchair ridden when I'm in my 70s or 80s because I decided not to take care of myself. I'd rather be like up and on the go as I like am right now in my early 40s. Now, I necessarily like stop the aging process and like stop like the degenerate like the loss of cognitive and physical abilities as we age? No, you can't stop it, but you can definitely slow it down by doing the stuff that like I've mentioned. So like I've like listening to it, this Dr. Peter Attia this morning. It's like, oh hey, this is cool. So like here's something I should talk about and like pass on to people, so that I can kind of reiterate what I've been talking about in like previous videos, so that people can start like putting together like how like you can do something like the seven pillars. So like for instance, like with physical activity, like I'll mention my Athlete X video that like I went over. So like and like you can get into like you kind of have to flip the script and get into like that mentality, like get rid of your old negative behaviors and start getting into like positive like behaviors and everything. So like this is where like the podcast the Norse mentality that I mentioned in a previous video comes in handy, because like the two guys on there, Andy and Cody, they pretty much talk about stuff that can like help get you like with the first point of smart recovery, help get you motivated to do these changes and everything. So like with talking about the Dr. Peter Addy, you can also go back to like other videos and start like listening to like stuff like that, and like get into like other content as well to kind of like back it up and like start like seeing how you can do stuff to improve your life and everything.